The Denver Nuggets are unable to get a win last night versus the Detroit Pistons. Honestly, that game went a lot better than I thought it would after the way the first half looked. But I think there's some good news to take out of that game. The Denver Nuggets, they're just trying to get through this last little stretch without Jokic, without Cam Johnson, without Christian Brown, without Aaron Gordon. And I think there are some big takeaways, not just from this time period where they've gone 9-6 without Jokic, but also I think they found some things they wouldn't have found otherwise. And I think this team, they're fighting no matter what's put in front of them, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. This is Swiper. This is Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. I'm your host, Swiper. I hope you're having a spectacular day on this Wednesday. I hope everything is going well for you. I hope that you are enjoying the weather as across the country we are dealing with the cold front. And it's cleared up a little bit down here in the south, but obviously, no matter where you are, you want to make sure you're staying safe and staying warm, y'all. Y'all, today we're going to talk about a little bit of last night's game, but also talk about kind of what the Nuggets are finding out about themselves over this period. And y'all, reinforcements are on the way. But today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. If you're a new customer, just bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Y'all, the Denver Nuggets, they played a game last night, and honestly, it could have gone better. It could have gone better. I can definitely understand frustration from the fans that were watching and saying, look, if Jamal Murray just makes a few more free throws, if Peyton Watson just makes a few more shots, if you just get a little bit more, they come away with the victory versus the Detroit Pistons, who are currently listed as the best team in the Eastern Conference. So, y'all, I understand it is frustrating. You don't like watching the Nuggets lose games, especially given the fact that they felt like towards the end they could have really pulled it out. But if you watch last night's game, one of the things that was very clear, that it was a back and forth game between the Nuggets getting blown out by double digits and then getting the game back within 5. But every time they would get the game back within 5 versus the Detroit Pistons, they kept extending the lead, whether it's in transition or they will call a timeout, and then right out of the timeout, Cade Cunningham or whoever would sprint towards the basket, just kind of bully his way towards the rim. He would get a bucket. The lead gets back up to 8, get back up to 9, get back up to 12. But I want to give the Denver Nuggets credit because last night when I was watching the game, it felt like Jamal Murray and others, they didn't have their legs about them. Now, everybody was kind of making the deal like, well, Swiper, like if you look at it, they actually had a lot of days off. So why would they be tired? Why would they be in a situation where they don't have the legs? Why would Jamal not have his leg? Well, y'all I just want to remind y'all, the NBA is not just what happens in the games. It's the travel. It's obviously the schedule. It is the workload. Jamal Murray and the rest of the Denver Nuggets, they sat on the tarmac for several hours trying to get back to Denver. Remember, they went to Memphis. They thought they were going to play a game in Memphis. They didn't play a game because it got rescheduled because of the weather. But then they had to stay in Memphis for an extended period of time. And I think coupled with that, and then they tried to leave, but then the whole plane per Katie Wingy had to be defrosted. And then they had to wait for the defrost. And then by the time they get in, it's super late. And they got to play a game that same day. And I just think everything starting the game, the momentum and the feel, it just felt off. It didn't feel like this was an A-level game or a B-level game from the Nuggets. So I definitely want to express that because I think NBA players, they don't get a lot of credit for they show up even in adverse situations where the timing and the weather and travel is not on their side, but they still want to go out and they want to do their job because they want to be a good teammate, but they also feel like they have a responsibility to the fans as well. So I appreciate them showing out like they did yesterday. But I will also tell you this. Jamal Murray and Peyton Watson, they have been tremendous for this team since Jokic has gone down, and especially tremendous in the month of January. The two of them combined yesterday were 13 of 38 from the field. 13 of 38 from the field. That was an aberration if I've ever seen one. Neither one of them early on could do anything with their jump shot. Jamal Murray, the entire game yesterday, by the way, he's shooting 44% from three. He's been the best pull-up three-point shooter in the NBA by a lot this year. He was 0 of 6 from three last night. So that's what I was saying. Like, it just felt like the pressure from Asar Thompson, like all of those things were happening, but it just felt like the Nuggets were being pushed to a place that they just couldn't seem to get comfortable. And the game started off, one of the first things that I noticed was they had, I think in the first 4 turnovers, 3, if not all of them, were passing turnovers. They were just being super lazy and super undisciplined with the basketball yesterday. Like Peyton Watson, he tries to pass the ball to Jamal Murray, does like a little one-handed lob. It gets picked off by Asar Thompson. And then Jonas Valanciunas, he does this little pass in to, I think it was Spencer Jones. And Spencer Jones, you know, the pass is like kind of contested. Jonas throws it high off a back cut. And Spencer tries to dribble the ball to not travel. Tobias Harris gets his hand in there. It gets kicked around. That's a lead out to points for the Detroit Pistons. And then again, Jamal Murray throws the pass to Jonas in a short roll. Jonas isn't ready. His hands are up. But I think it was just the speed of the ball. And on top of that, Jonas puts his hands up. But then by the time Jamal Murray comes back around, it looks like he's curling into another screen in the middle of the floor. So he throws the ball to Jonas. It ricochets off his chest. And again, another run out for the Pistons. So then you get another one where Jonas gets the ball off a rebound at 12-7 with 8 minutes left in the first quarter. Jonas gets the rebound and then again sees Jamal Murray in an outlet, does another one of those lazy, not looking around passes. Asar Thompson gets his hand on it. The ball gets deflected. And then next thing you know, it's a turnover. So actually, on all the first 4 turnovers for the Nuggets, all of them were passing turnovers. So it was just super sloppy. And I'm sitting here like, this doesn't feel good. But then, by the way, yesterday, you know, I gave a lot of credit to Jamal this year. He's actually had a, you know, especially for all the injuries they've had, he's had a good defensive season this year. He's really contributed in a lot of ways. And they've tried to pick on him in isolation, and he's been really good versus a lot of these mismatches that other teams are trying to hunt. But yesterday, Jamal Murray got lost quite a few times. You know, I took it down in my notes. But there's probably 4 times that I noted in just the first quarter, if not the first half, where Jamal just seemed to be out of place. The first one was where Jamal Murray is like running in transition, but Zeke Naji is next to Cade Cunningham. Cade is running and trying to stay in front of Zeke, and Jamal, instead of getting in front, and then you show him, then if he passes it out, then Zeke or whoever, you can go out and try to defend the three-point line. Jamal runs back. And then he just leaves and abandons the middle of the floor. And Zeke obviously can't get in front of Cade, so it just finishes as a easy layup and dunk. And I wrote down, Murray clears out in transition. Why? And then in the second quarter, so this is all in the first half, Jamal Murray had an offensive rebound that he gave up that led to additional points. And then there was like a three-pointer that he got lost on that led to points for the Pistons. And then at the end of the first half, there was a play where the Nuggets are trying to end the first half and trying to keep the Pistons from scoring, but they double Cade, which at the time didn't make much sense to me because Cade wasn't playing super well. So they double Cade, and then Jamal Murray has to go defend the low man. But then what happens is he defends the low man, and then I want to say it might have been Jaden Ivey moves from the corner up to the right wing, and so Jamal's all the way in the paint. So Cade just makes an easy pass right to his right. Jamal kind of slips on the run out, and then it's a wide open 3. So that's not necessarily his fault. That was more of a schematic issue, but it just felt like the Nuggets were just playing behind. Yesterday, Peyton Watson defensively yesterday wasn't great. Like, I think he really struggled with Cade's size, and he struggled with Tobias Harris's size yesterday. And if I'm looking at the numbers right now defensively for the Nuggets, now the numbers say that Jamal Murray held the Detroit Pistons to 5 of 11 from 3. or from the field as a primary defender. So that's like good numerically. Again, those first possessions and some of those ones that they're probably not going to count against them as well are going to count towards like Zeke and others. Peyton Watson defensively yesterday got 18 shot attempts. So he was the primary defender in 18 shots, and they made 12 of them. 12 of them. So, again, it's not that like they're inherently bad defenders or anything, but it just felt sloppy. So, on the other side, we'll talk about the second half and kind of what transition and why the Nuggets were able to get back into the game, but just some things that happened that didn't allow for them to close it out. But I think, y'all, there's a lot of good takeaways from this because they're on the way to getting reinforcements. They really are. They just have to have a little bit more patience, and then we'll have it on the other side. But y'all know what time it is. I have more for you here on Locked On Nuggets.
You know, I carry a lot of responsibility in my household. If something happened to me, there would be serious consequences. We have a mortgage. We got tuition. We got everyday bills. Those aren't going anywhere if something happens to me. And I know that's an overwhelming feeling, but I'm taking steps to protect my family by getting life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast, easy, and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/LockedOnNBA. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/LockedOnNBA. That's ethos.com/LockedOnNBA. Ethos.com/LockedOnNBA. Application times and rates may vary.
We're back for the second segment here at Locked On Nuggets. Shout out to you all. And by the way, the NBA trade deadline is basically here. And we want to give you a free month of our new Everydayer Club to help you get ready. If you need a group chat to keep up with the chaos, join ours. The Everydayer Club gets you access to a group chat on Discord just for Nuggets fans. Plus, national chats where you can hang out with fans from across the league. Make sure that you can tap in. You can get with Matt and Ryan, especially in the Discord. And you also get ad-free versions of this show if you sign up by the trade deadline on February 5th. And you can use code DEADLINE and get your first month free. Tap the link in the show notes to learn more. So, y'all, we're back talking about the Denver Nuggets, talking about the game last night versus the Detroit Pistons. And the second half of the game was a flip. Everything flipped in the second half. The Nuggets, they came out with a lot of energy in the second half. They started playing more defense in the second half. Now, in the second quarter of this game, the Denver Nuggets actually only held them to 21 points, the Pistons. So they were down 31-18, and then they held the Detroit Pistons to 21 points. Their defense was tighter. They made the Pistons bad three-point shooters, Ron Holland, start shooting more threes, and so it slowed down their offense. But in the second half, y'all, Jamal Murray, plus 16.7 net rating. The Nuggets had a 139 offensive rating in the second half with Jamal Murray on the floor. With Tim Hardaway Jr. on the floor, the Nuggets had a 154.8 offensive rating. And Peyton Watson, 139.5 offensive rating. Spencer Jones, 138.7 offensive rating. So they started cooking, and they were playing good defense. By the way, shout out to Zeke Naji. He had a plus 33 net rating in the second half, and Bruce Brown, plus 38.9. And I want to give both of them credit in particular, because beyond the net rating, because that's just like some advanced stuff, they played really good defense yesterday, and they also got into Cade Cunningham and others. Bruce Brown had a really good game yesterday. I dubbed it the Bruce Brown game. He actually had, I think, his best game of the year in the minutes he played. He played 23 minutes. He has 16 points, 7 rebounds with 2 offensive rebounds, a steal, and 2 blocks, and he was a plus 7 yesterday. And then in the second half, he continued to turn it up, made some really good plays. He got multiple and 1 finishes and offensive rebounds yesterday. Bruce Brown had 2 offensive rebounds in the second half. He had 8 points, great drive-bys. And Zeke Naji, again, only 2 points, but he was a plus 5 in the second, and he only played 8 minutes. Now, Zeke Naji, what I love about the way he has approached this time period, he is not going to score consistently. But what he can do is he can get in your chest. He can defend. And, y'all, there was actually a defensive play with Cade Cunningham yesterday where it was very, clear that Zeke was trying to do the best that he could to bother Cade. And it was like right on the baseline, like kind of he almost forced Cade underneath the basket yesterday. And I just kind of was looking like, man, like that's really good defense, Zeke. And again, they only shot 46% with Zeke as the primary defender yesterday. So shout out to him. I thought he did a really commendable job. I thought the minutes that he played were good in the second half. And especially in this period when they're trying to get energy and they just need like, hey, we just got to have somebody that's able to do something. I think he played very well for stretches in the fourth quarter. And like I said, shout out to Bruce Brown, man, because without his energy in the first half and throughout the game, the Nuggets would have got like toe up in this game. And so the other part of this is Peyton Watson. Now, Peyton, 6 of 20, like I said yesterday, he was 3 of 10 in the second half. Now, again, he also was a +2, but that's because the game got super tight towards the end. Me and Matt have had a lot of debates and a lot of talks about Peyton Watson and just what exactly he's doing and what exactly it is that he's good at. I think a lot of this is Peyton Watson is still developing as an on-ball player, developing as a playmaker, developing as a scorer, and also the Detroit Pistons have a really good defense. I think that this is a combination of like a young player trying to figure things out and also had an off game. 6 of 20 is kind of crazy, y'all. Like 30% from the field, that's like bad. I mean, this is like nobody is this inefficient in the NBA. Nobody's this inefficient in the NBA. But I do think, though, that we're kind of at the point where the Nuggets just have to continue to allow for Peyton Watson to figure some things out and figure out how do you need to attack certain coverages? How do you need to attack these looks that you're seeing in zone or versus man? Again, in a month, y'all, you're averaging 22, 6 and 3, shooting 49% from the field, 46% from 3, which is crazy. 49% from the field, 46% from 3 is nuts. And 73.5% from the free throw line. So he's like playing uber efficiently. But I do think the competition level, as it goes up, more is going to be required of him to make good decisions with the basketball. And something he struggles with, and he struggled with yesterday, again, is passing the ball as a playmaker, and especially when it comes to lazy passes. Again, these are lessons. Peyton Watson, yesterday, he gets the Nuggets into a situation where he's at the top of the key, trying to throw inchy passes, and again, he turns the ball over. That happens with Peyton. He does that sometimes. And I thought yesterday that just wasn't pretty, and I didn't even trust him with the basketball, at some point. But again, I just think for everyone, that's just a measure of being patient and just allowing for him to figure a lot of that stuff out. But it has to get there with him. And again, y'all, he had another bad entry pass to Jonas Valanciunas where Jalen Duren was able to get right over the top. That led to an easy run out. And then he had another off the leg, like where he tried to drive by the defender in the fourth quarter in the clutch, mind you, and then the ball bounces out of his left hand out of bounds. So the good news is, hey, Peyton, you know what you got to work on, and you got to go do it. Now, Jamal, I think that it is like wildly. No. I want to say it like this. Jamal Murray missed free throws yesterday. Absolutely. Jamal Murray didn't play as well as you wanted him to yesterday. Absolutely. 5 free throws, though, y'all. I don't know the last time Jamal Murray has missed 5 free throws. I went back and looked the last year in this whole season. Jamal Murray hasn't missed 5 free throws at all. That is the most free throws that he's missed, period, all season. And I mean, I could go back to 2024-25. Let me look at this. So Jamal Murray, that was the tied for the most free throws he's had, looks like, over the last 2 years. And again, the last time Jamal Murray had 15 free throws, this was the Houston game this season, he was 14 of 15. Jamal Murray, 9 free throws, 8 of 9. Jamal Murray, 8 free throws, 7 of 8. Jamal Murray, 7 free throws, 7 of 7. 6 of 6, 6 of 6, 5 of 5, 4 of 4. He's an elite free throw shooter. Elite. So it's frustrating, obviously, that Jamal got into a situation yesterday where I think he was in his head, and it was, I agree a little bit, Big Honey, it was like some fatigue that he had. He got to the free throw line, and usually it's like, oh, Jamal's there. This is easy. Bucket. I'm gonna turn away. I'm going to get a sip of my drink. He's going to make these shots. And yesterday, he had already missed two in over the course of the game. But then you get back-to-back fouls on three-point shots, and Jamal Murray missed the first one, and I'm like, no way. But then he got a second opportunity, and then he made the first one and missed the second one short, and I was just like, oh, yeah, that's up here. That's up here. But if anybody on the team, and apparently this new version of Jokic who can hit clutch free throws, I trust Jamal Murray at the line more than anybody else on the team, and almost more than anybody else in the league this side of like Steph Curry and like maybe SGA. But even SGA has missed free throws in the clutch before. And I just think that was such a weird occurrence from Maul. I just wouldn't be concerned about it, but it was for sure frustrating Nuggets fans, and I get it. On the other side, y'all, the good news is reinforcements are on the way. Finally, The Rock has come back to Denver. That's going to be Jokic here soon. We're going to talk about all that and more here at Locked On Nuggets. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Now, whether you're backing the favorite, riding the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, this is a game everyone's been waiting for. This is where predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. It's the perfect way to cap off the offseason and make the Super Bowl even more exciting. Kickoff to the final whistle. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 or $200 in bonus bet you get if you win. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season is over. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever just to hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by trusted local experts start to finish without the stress or guesswork. Now, instead of spending hours trying to figure out the forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150. All in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. We'll be back for the final segment here at Locked On Nuggets. We are back for the final segment here at Locked On Nuggets. Make sure if you're listening to this, give us a 5-star review on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like, share, and subscribe. We're on the way to 15,000 subscribers here at Locked On Nuggets. We're knocking on the door of 12,000, so please stop what you're doing. Hit the subscribe button. We are continuing to build up this community. And y'all, in just about one more week, if that, the Denver Nuggets will finally be getting the best player in the world back in the lineup. Thank goodness. The Nuggets are getting that much closer to getting the best player in basketball back in the lineup. This is where we are, man. So the Shams update, I'm sure that Ryan and Matt talked to you about this a little bit as well. But the reason why speculating based on evidence that has been given and based on Shams' own reporting, the reason why Jokic is taking another week as of yesterday, which was the 27th, which is the official 28-day mark that he's been out of the lineup. The reason why they're doing this is because, hey, they were 9-5 as of yesterday. They're 9-6 without Jokic as of now, and they're still in contention for the 2 seed. What's the point in rushing him back? They want to bring Jokic back in a way that allows for him to be fully healthy when he gets back, where he doesn't have to worry about dealing with any stiffness and soreness and lingering issues. That way, when he's back, and he can stay in the lineup. And then on the other end, Cam Johnson, he's going to be back here soon as well. Now, Aaron Gordon will find out a little bit more just about where he is with the hamstring and everything else. Now, he could be out for a few games, but we'll see. We'll find out. That's all going to be stuff that we'll find out in the near future. But I do think it matters, though, y'all, that the Nuggets have done a just admirable job where they've been able to sustain having so many players in and out of the lineup and out of the lineup, period, and Cam Johnson, Christian Brown, and Nikola Jokic. They've been able to stay afloat and to at least keep their head above water without these players being on the court. And I think this has been so good for the team to have to find itself outside of like, hey, you're the best player in the world, Jokic. Let's spam the most efficient 30 points per game scorer ever, the best rebounder in the league, and the best playmaker passer in the league. Let's spam that. Because, look, they've had to, hey, we're going to play without any centers. We're going to be a terrible rebounding team. Let's find out. Hey, Jonas is back. Thank goodness. 16 rebounds. We're able to kind of do similar things with Jonas that we do with Jokic, but he's obviously just not as good. And then he turns the ball over a lot with the passing stuff. Okay, well, let's put it in Peyton Watson and Jamal's hands a little bit more then. Hey, Aaron Gordon, you get in there and you play center. You play at the nail. You kind of run that little hubs role right in the middle of the offense where you're passing and you're cutting and you're screening. Okay, Aaron Gordon's out. All right, Zeke Naji, you get in there and you do it. All right, you're not great at it. Deron Holmes, I know you're first year playing in the NBA. You go out there and you figure it out. So the good news with all of this, y'all, is they have found multiple ways to handle this stint of not having Joker. And if you ask me, in the long term, for the rest of this year, this is going to be magnanimous for this team. Because now being able to fortify an identity that when Jokic leaves the game now, it's like, all right, Jokic, the Nuggets are up 8, up 10 when he leaves. All right. Hey, Zeke Naji, Jonas Valanciunas, Peyton Watson, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr., y'all get in there. You hold it down the same way you did when Jokic wasn't here at all. You're basically a different kind of starting unit. You have your own identity. You have the own way that you play. It's not revolved around Jokic's all-time great talent level. For me, that matters because they have looked like an NBA team without Jokic. And I didn't think that was something not possible, but that's just not something that we have saw them do well from 2020 to 2025. So I think they've had to reorient how they've been approaching basketball, and Adelman has had to get deeper into his bag of lineup utilization, even though I wish Deron Holmes would have played more, like including last night when they went really small and they were getting hounded on the rebounding glass. I just think his size makes a difference there. But being able to find an identity around Jamal, around Peyton, and then Tim Hardaway Jr. especially, that core I think has really helped with a lot of where they're going. And I think the team morale, y'all, you know, David Adelman talked about this, like they have just been fighting. They've been super gritty. I think that the team is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly proud with how they've been playing. I think they're proud of the effort they've been putting out. I know they wish they would have won. I know that they wish they would have got yesterday's job done. I know that they wish that they would have been able to hit some free throws to end the game. That way they got another win in the win column, especially as OKC has now tumbled to 10 losses on the season. Look, man, and I think the thing that most frustrating, y'all, I think, oh, man, if Jokic was playing right now, I think he'd be walking to another MVP. He was playing so well, so phenomenal, and then now the record thing is just not a conversation. I think the Nuggets wouldn't even have – I don't even think they would have – at this juncture, I don't even know if they would have 10 losses right now if Jokic was here. But that's the hand that they've been dealt. And the upside of it is I think this has made them better for the playoffs. And, again, Cam Johnson getting back, Aaron Gordon, Lord willing, take all the time you need to get your hamstring healthy. Also, don't play the 5 anymore. Let's not put him at the 5 at all until you get to April, if that. Christian Brown gets back. And I think the missing thing that they don't have in Christian Brown is a high-level POA defender, an uber athlete in transition, a great cutter, and a really smart player. Because you know what? What Peyton, everybody compares Peyton and Christian. Now, Peyton has a higher ceiling, and he's a more talented overall player. But the difference is Christian's, his floor is so high because all he has to do is do these things really well, and he's a very high-level contributor to a championship. Go play defense. Go cut. Go run, go guard off ball, be able to rotate when we do trap up top, rotate there faster, get there before the defender falls below the nail. Like, get to this spot. And if you're there in the corner, you can drive off it, cut off it, and hit those threes at times. It's just having a baseline level of IQ. Christian brings that and athleticism to this roster, so they'll be better for it when he gets fully back. So, y'all, I think that you all, as listeners and watchers, I think you should be highly encouraged about this time period you've gotten from Denver. I think last night would have been great to get a win, but I think they showed a lot of grit, down the best player in the world and 3 other starters. This team, I think they're proving that, like, when we get together and Lord willing, we can stay healthy, there might not be nobody else touching them. But, y'all, that's going to do it for this episode. This is Locked On Nuggets. I'm Swiper. Y'all know what time it is. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Give us a 5-star review on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. Hey, love y'all. See y'all on the other side.